Hello, everyone. My name is Joseph Lugo. I'm with the Administration for Community Living. I'm a director and help lead our Office of Network Advancement. I wish I was in the room with you, but thanks for a chance to be a part of this intensive, even if it's just virtually. I promise to keep my comments very brief because I know you have a lot of work, important work ahead of you. But we wanted to show our support for Grantmakers in Aging and the work that you're doing in this intensive for helping expand state activity and creating master plans on aging. This is actually an area that we've recently invested in. We've awarded 10 states to help develop and map out their state access system to improve it, make it easier for family caregivers to get access to home and community-based services. These activities are embedded as part of our national strategy to support family caregivers. But our hope is that once they complete that activity, this leadership team can then move beyond that and start developing a master plan on aging. And so we're really excited about this space and the work that you're about to do. All right, as we look at this slide, I think a master plan on aging brings value on multiple fronts, but I wanted to tease out three and call them out in kind of a unique, fun way. The first is I think a master plan on aging helps provide vision. I think it helps create a voice and kind of unify that voice. And also I think it gives us a platform to kind of dream and maybe achieve things that may be beyond what we think we could have normally done on our own. All right, so what do I mean by vision? So I guess a show of hands, you don't have to raise your hand, but there was a new movie out this year called Top Gun, Maverick. Made almost $1 billion, so I'm assuming that at least one person in the room maybe has seen this. But in the opening scene, the main character, Maverick, is flying an experimental plane. He's trying to go certain speed to help make sure their project stays afloat and they get funding and stuff like that. So no spoilers there. But the original Top Gun was named Tom Attridge. It's 1956, and this was his plane. It was an F-11F Tiger, and it was the fastest plane on the planet at the time. And so during his test flight, he's at 20,000 feet, he's going Mach 1, he reports to the ground that he's getting shot at. Now, everyone on the ground didn't agree. They were like, that doesn't make any sense. You are flying the fastest plane on the planet. How can you be shot at? Well, lucky for him, he got proof. If you look right here, right there, when he landed, they actually found the bullets and he got hit not once, but 3 times. Now, what makes this even a more interesting story, and I think it's relevant for us, is that what happened was that when Tom was flying, he shot bullets from his plane, and he was moving so quickly and moving so fast, he caught up to his own bullets and shot himself down. When he fired, he was not aiming in the right space, and so it caused him to catch up to his own bullets, and he shot himself down. True story, you can kind of look it up. But I thought it was very relevant, because I think that's what a master plan helps provide to the state. It gives the state vision, it gives it aim, because you have all these multiple activities going on in the state, many times silos going on, and sometimes they end up conflicting and shooting themselves down themselves. But with a master plan, at least helps address that a little bit to mitigate that in terms of how can you create a vision so that we at least all know where we're going in the same direction. Okay, moving on to the second point. How can a master plan on aging help with voice? My favorite Twilight Zone episode is called To Serve Man. And so the premise of this episode, and there are spoilers here, so if you plan to go watch it, maybe 30 seconds, listen and do something else. Check emails or something. But in this episode, you have aliens from another planet coming to Earth, and they're saying, hey, we're here to help you. We can bring good. Now, there's some mistrust here, right? Do we trust these visitors from another planet? And their response was like, oh, yeah, the book that we live by is right here. And the title of it is called To Serve Man. Problem was, they only knew the title of the book. And so I brought a short clip with me to kind of help drive home this point that a master plan on aging can help with voice.
Their quotas fill just as soon as they make the announcement of a new trip. While I'm waiting, I think I'll do the next best thing. I'm still working on that book. You know, deciphering that title, well, it's been of no help. Because their capital letters are different than the other signs they use, just as ours are. But it's starting to fall into place now. I think I'll get the answer eventually.
Well, more power. I gave up trying months ago.
This is flight number 914 from Earth to our planet. We will be taking off in 3 minutes.
Mr. Chambers! Mr. Chambers! Don't get on that ship! The rest of the book, To Serve Man, it's a cookbook!
No! 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 Ah! No!
You gotta love those graphics, right? State of the art. So the last thing I want for our field is to have the same outcome as Mr. Chambers. And something that executive director at a Center for Independent Living shared with me once, and it stuck with me, was this idea. Be at the table, or you could end up on the menu. I think there are so many competing interests in your state. There's so much noise that a master plan on aging helps us stay at that table. It gives us a voice to say, hey, our interests matter, the people that we're trying to serve matter, and so you need to hear what we have to say. And that's another critical thing that I think a master plan on aging does, is it helps unify our voice. Okay, we've made it to the last point. We've talked about how a master plan on aging can help with vision, how it can help with unifying voice, and finally, we talk about how can it help us reach dreams. Samuel Langley was the secretary of the Smithsonian, and he had a goal. And his goal was to build the first machine that could fly. Now, in his prestigious position, he had all the resources at the Smithsonian, and if that were not enough, he received an additional $1 million grant to be able to achieve this goal. So with all of these resources, he had everything going for him to achieve this. But as we know, he didn't. The Wright brothers did. Now, they didn't have the resources of the Smithsonian. They didn't have a $1 million grant. But I think they knew the difference between a goal that you might have documented in a paper versus a dream. And they pursued that dream with everything they had. Limited resources, limited connections, their only assets maybe being a bicycle shop. And so I close with a short video to kind of help emphasize that yes, you're going to be working towards putting goals down, putting objectives down, but collectively together, when you mix that with a dream, you can achieve things that you never thought were possible. Thank you again for the opportunity to be a part of your intensive, even in a small way. I think the energy and the passion that we saw at the turn of the century to try to be the first in the air, we're now facing a similar situation with an aging nation, aging society, and how can we plan for that? So on behalf of ACL, we wish you tremendous success, and remember to keep that vision, remember the voice, and remember to keep achieving those dreams. Thank you much.